Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and it appears that investing in Airbnbs right now is like committing financial suicide. Not only have they taken incredible hits to their profit margins since 2019, but there is an overwhelming amount of new laws that are now regulating where Airbnbs can be located. And this is not just in the US, this is around the world. Governments are starting to shut down short-term investment or Airbnb. So the question is, how will that help us as prospective homeowners on the sidelines? And will they be in such bad shape that the owners will have no choice but to liquidate their homes in order to get through the coming recession and housing market crash? So these are the questions that we're going to try to answer today. But remember, you guys, I'm not a financial advisor, even if we want that to be, even though my bio is as a realtor, loan officer, and instructor in all things real estate. And I'm trying not to overdo this intro. So please, guys, for trying not to overdo the intro, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and shoot me a comment below. I would greatly appreciate that. But regardless, guys, where we're going to start is we're going to see where we're at right now statistically with Airbnb. So we're going to jump into iProperty Management just to get some current Airbnb statistics. Now, I want to highlight a couple things here, guys, because it's actually extremely bad what's going on right now with Airbnb. But let's read some of the highlights. Airbnb statistics indicate that travel booking site has recovered from the losses of 2020 with a 280.2% increase in net income, but that's in 2021. Corporate revenue for the second quarter of 2022 totaled 2.1 billion. So, in other words, Airbnb is a huge business. Airbnb is valued at over $70 billion as of August 2022, down, you guys, down 34.3% since just the start of the year. A 34% hit is insane, guys. The average host earned only $13,800 in 2021. And here's what's very interesting. Over 60% of US hosts say they rent out their own primary home while they're on vacation. So real quick, guys, I just want to point out the fact that these homeowners are so greedy and cannot get enough of Airbnb that they rent out their own primary residence when they're on vacation. You guys, isn't that absolutely crazy to you? What if you were one of their neighbors? Would you like that? Ask yourself that question. Anyways, guys, let's jump back into the statistics so that I can show you how much money they've been losing or making. All right, so here's Airbnb's quarterly revenue in millions. And I'm going to show you guys the actual losses here in a minute so that you can see what is really going on. But as you can see, since about 2019, revenue didn't really go up from this point right here, guys, until about Q3 of 2021. And that's as a result of the lockdowns ending and a whole bunch of people wanting to go on vacation and wanting to go celebrate for being out of lockdown. So that's why you guys see this huge spiral up right here, because you can see it really started in Q1 of 2021. So that was just people getting out of the house. But obviously, all of these people are spending their money like crazy. You can see it's gone down since then, kind of went sideways and went up. I want to paint you guys a true picture, which is, are they losing money or are they making money as a whole in the Airbnb business? So in order to do that, let's pull up all of the losses from COVID and see how much money they actually lost. Because isn't that what the point of investing is, to make money into cash flow? Take a look at this. Now, I'm just going to come out and say this point blank. 9 out of the 14 last quarters, again, 9 out of the last 14 quarters for Airbnb have been negative. You guys, they have been losing money all but 5 quarters. That's crazy. And it really started with COVID. If you look here, Q1 2019, it started. Look at this, negative 292 million, 297 million. And then for some reason, Q3, they actually made money, but they lost money for 3 straight quarters. Again, made money in Q3, lost a lot of money in 2020. Q4 lost a lot more money, lost more money, and then they made money again in 2021 Q3. So obviously it looks like Q3 is pretty positive for Airbnbs. But after 2021, Q3, they made a little bit of money in Q4 of 2021. They lost money in Q1 of 2022, and they made a little bit of money in 2022, Q2. So in other words, you guys, there have only been 5 quarters out of the last 14 that have even made owners a profit, a potential profit from their Airbnb's investment. So it's really easy to tell that Airbnb investing right now may not be a smart move. And not only that, it may mean that all of these investors that have been trying to weather this storm are going to be liquidating and fire selling their properties, because remember, more than likely, I'm just going to say more than likely, I think we're in recession. I think it's guaranteed. But if we hit recession, if we hit, bigger unemployment numbers, Airbnb business is more than likely only going to get worse for the investor. But again, not only that, there are so many states and governments making changes to laws and essentially banning short-term Airbnb investments. Let's take a look at a few of those now. All right, guys, so really super good stuff here. Let me zoom in. So we're going to start with Spain. So Spain's new law and regulation is property owners must have a city-approved license to rent their property on Airbnb. Here's Las Vegas. Primary residences must have a permit and must remain present during any short-term stay. Real estate agents cannot rent out a property for less than 31 days. So that is a pretty sharp change for Las Vegas, you guys. And personally, again, I think it's good because I don't want people coming to where my primary residence is located and partying and going crazy and getting cops called at all hours of the night. But that is a massive change for Las Vegas. Essentially, it means the resident must stay in the rental with the tenant. That's crazy. Here's Los Angeles, California. Hosts may only rent out their primary residence where they live for more than 6 months out of the year. Furthermore, hosts may not rent no more than 120 days per year. So it's essentially saying if you're going to convert your primary residence to an Airbnb, you have to live there for 6 months out of the year. There's New York City. Hosts renting for less than 30 days must be permanent residences. While hosting, they must occupy the property and they may not host more than one property at a time. So this is crazy. This is saying essentially you can have one Airbnb in New York City. There's probably a lot more restrictions than that. But let's see what France is saying about Airbnb. Listings must have a registration number to ensure compliance, and apartments may only be rented out for 120 days a year. So you can see, you guys, Airbnbs have become a problem around the world. When you put short-term investment rentals in residential neighborhoods where there's pride of ownership and things of that nature, hosts must be permanent residents and live on the property for a minimum of 275 nights per year. Again, this is limiting the amount of nights they can even rent out the properties. This is huge. They may not have more than one listing or rent out for more than 90 nights each year. Massive change in San Francisco. Here's what Santa Monica is doing. Hosts must occupy the property during renter's stay. So the owner must stay in the property with the tenant. That's crazy. They must also register for a business license and pay 14% of their revenue to the city. So in other words, the city is going to start taxing more and more investors. You guys, how crazy is this, right? But that's not all. Look at some of the other articles I found. Also happening in New Orleans, new regulations could come for short-term Airbnb rentals in East Baton Rouge Parish. Okay, so this is happening all over the place. But not only there, it's also happening in Hawaii. What happens now that a judge has blocked Honolulu's short-term investing rentals? So you guys can essentially see that there are many, many metro areas that are currently banning short-term investments because essentially what it's doing is ruining it for all of the current owners, right? You don't want this type of nonsense where your primary residence is. Do you guys agree with me on that or not? Comment below. Let me know if you agree. But now what I want to show you is what's going on in Twitter, because there has been a huge push to ban and cancel culture Airbnbs. Let's take a look at that story right now. All right, so here's an interesting article that I will shoot a link in my description, but Twitter users roast Airbnb as hosts complain bookings are down. It is being dubbed by Twitter users as the Airbnb Bust, otherwise known as the downfall of the rental platform Airbnb is upon us. The hosts are upset. Meanwhile, others are celebrating. So let's see what people have to say. So here's a tweet here for an Airbnb host. What's going on with no Airbnbs, no bookings at all? And then another quote here, has anyone seen a huge decrease in bookings over the last 3 to 4 months? We went from at least 50% occupancy to literally zero. Do y'all think quantitative tightening is working? Here's another one. Airbnb landlords are like, how come no one wants to book my house? Maybe it's because you evicted a family of 4, converted their home into a shabby duplex, filled it with clearance bin, TJ Maxx decor, and charged guests $200 for a cleaning fee. Y'all, that is a savage right there. Here's another one. I'm still fired up about the Airbnb bust because I love to see people fail at get-rich-quick schemes, especially the schemes that leave lower-income families homeless and give stay-at-home spouses the illusion of running a business. Pretty savage. Here's another one. I was looking for Airbnb for a date in December, and they are more expensive than the hotels around there. Hotels will come with breakfast and clean after you, but the greedy Airbnb owners want more money. I want this bust to happen. So for once, it seems like the cancer culture has got something right. So instead of crying about the cartoons that their parents used to watch, this appears to be actually doing something good for society. And I want you guys to do me a favor. Comment below and let me know what you think about Airbnbs and whether or not you think that those types of investments should be allowed in normal single-family resident neighborhoods. Now, I get Airbnbs being on coastal cities and high tourist areas where people are up all night partying, but you can't have that in neighborhoods where there's parents that have to wake up at 7 a.m., working 2 jobs, taking their kids to school. We need peace of mind and balance. And in my opinion, again, we don't get that from Airbnb. But again, comment below. Let me know what you think. Listen to me very carefully. The fact of the matter is, of the last 14 quarters, only 5 have been profitable for Airbnb. The thing is, investors can only lose so much money before they throw their hands up and walk away. But not only that, as a result of the tightening restrictions, that's going to put even more pressure on Airbnb owners to start walking away from their investments. And with a record number of investors purchasing single-family residences, I believe the Airbnb bust will help lead to increased price declines because, again, once an investor is in super bad shape, they will have no choice but to try to liquidate their properties in order to survive. Now, other than that, you guys, I really hope you guys got some value, perspective, and insights from today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you know already. I wish you luck, and I hope you win.